I'm Gwendolyn Sterk of Sterk Family Law. Welcome to Resource Sessions. Today we have our not-for-profit hero of the month, which is K9s for Veterans. We have Dan Miller with us. Welcome, Dan. How are you?
I'm good, and everything's good. I'm so happy to be here today. Thank you for having us on.
Of course. Well, I know that your mission is to help veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder, and you help them transition really back from, you know, military service to civilian life. So tell us a little bit about the history of your organization and how it got started.
Absolutely. Canines for Veterans was started by a gentleman named Michael Tellerino. He's our CEO, and it began in 2016. It was Michael's idea. Michael is an Army veteran, and the idea that he came up with was, there's thousands and thousands of men and women that serve our nation in the military, as well as first responders, police officers, police women, firemen, and whatnot. And Michael saw the need for veterans and first responders to have trained service dogs, because he realized and saw that a lot of veterans, a lot of first responders suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder and traumatic brain injuries. And, having a trained service dog absolutely positively helps those that suffer with PTSD and TBI by having that dog with them. And the dog serves the purpose of assisting the veteran or the first responder who's struggling with that PTSD or that TBI.
100%. I mean, and dogs are so incredibly intelligent that they know the triggers even before the individual who's suffering from the issue may.
Absolutely, absolutely. The dogs are very intuitive, as you say, and through the training, it allows that veteran, that first responder, to do things that they might not normally do. And Michael has said, in the past, and I am a recipient of a dog. I have my canine, Rocky. Who's saving who, really?
Absolutely.
All our dogs are rescues. So, who's saving who? We save a dog and we save the veteran or the first responder. And an example would be one of the signs of PTSD, which I've gone through, is isolation. Not wanting to go out, not wanting to do things, because it's easier to just kind of stay at home and not have to deal with the public, not have to deal with going out. And when you have a dog, that forces you in a way
100%, yeah.
to have to go out. You've got to walk the dog, you've got to take care of the dog, and the dog needs to go out, the dog needs exercise. And having the veteran taking care of the dog, or the first responder taking care of the dog, that gets you outside, and it gets you out into the world. And having that companion with you, whether you're going to the store, you're going to the park, wherever you might be going, having that trained service dog with you opens that world back up to you. And I mean, it did it with me. So
You're 100%. And the dogs are so fun and attractive that people are friendly, right? By the nature of it. I mean, people are attracted to dogs on a regular basis. And then to see that, just to be able to get out of the house. And, the dog wants to go, and they give you that motivation. In all different types, I think a dog can really be key to help somebody, even older people, as you're aging, and in different scenarios too, where the dog does require the care. And you want to give the dog the care, because that's your dog's best friend, right?
no, absolutely. And an example with me and Rocky, I'd be having a hard time. I might be having an emotional moment. Another thing with post-traumatic stress disorder is the mood swings. And one minute you're happy, and the next minute you're upset, and you don't necessarily know why. You can't necessarily put a pin in it as to exactly why you feel this way. That is, one of the downfalls of PTSD. And Rocky can sense, that change in me, and he will come up to me, and I call it changing my channel. He'll nibble on my hand, or lick my hand, or lean into me, and what that does is that's forcing me to change my focus to him.
Right. Sure.
to what his need might be. And, I call it, I'm going down the rabbit hole. And when he does that, that stops me from doing that. That changes my focus. And now I'm concentrating on what he needs. And he does it quite often with me. And in a way, that saves me from going down that rabbit hole.
Right.
And it helps me to refocus on him and makes me, get out of that situation. And I've talked to so many other veterans and first responders that have dogs, and it's the same thing. It's the same feeling that they get. Um,
Right. And they want that attention and they demand it. I mean, they'll put your
right.
paw up on you and they'll rub on you and say, redirect, you need to pay attention to me, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'd love to talk too about our training program.
Sure, I'd like to hear
How
about it because that was going to be
absolutely,
my next question. How do you
yeah.
train these dogs? Yeah.
Absolutely. So, with Canines for Veterans, if we have a web page. You can go to canines.org and on the web page itself, there's an application, and
Okay.
in order to qualify, you have to be honorably discharged from the military or a first responder, and you get vetted from our staff. And once you're vetted and accepted into the program, uh, the training program is approximately 2 years long. And the first step is you get met by the staff and you're evaluated. And then the staff looks at what type of dog would be best for you. And then we marry up the dog with the veteran, and you start down that path of training. And as I said, it's a 2 year program. It can go longer. There is no minimal time frame as far as the training goes. It can take 2 years, it can take 3 years, whatever it takes to get you and that dog to that day where you've graduated and you've met all of the markers through the training. And the trainers feel that you and the dog are ready to graduate.
And what does it involve? What do you do when you're at training? What are you
Well,
doing?
you're trained with the dog to go through basic commands with the dog. The dog
Okay.
is trained to respond to your needs. With PTSD, a lot of times the dogs are trained to become a shield between you and other people. The dogs are trained to react to what's going on with you. The dogs are trained to be a comfort to you. An example would be I suffer from night terrors. I
Okay.
suffer from, bad dreams, stuff that night sweats, that is also part of PTSD. Rocky knows this. He senses this and he knows how to respond to it by basically, if I'm having an issue, he'll intercept that by waking me or once again changing my channel
Right.
and pulling me out of that and being a comfort for me when I need him at that
That's
moment.
awesome.
Right, absolutely. And so the veteran and the dog train together. It's I like to put it like a marriage, a
Right.
relationship, and the dog and the veteran are together from day one, go through the training. And one of the great things about Canines for Veterans is all of the basic medical, and all of the food for the dog is free for the
That's
life.
amazing, just
Right.
amazing. Yeah.
Right. And we do that so that that takes the burden off of the veteran or the
Right.
first responder, because it can be expensive.
It can be, yeah.
And that takes that burden off of that veteran or that first responder. And so once you're done and you've graduated, there's a vesting ceremony, and
Oh,
later
yeah.
I'll talk about some of the events that we have coming up. But I to this day I'll never forget my vesting ceremony. The day that the dog is vested and marked off as fully trained, certified as my service dog. But the training doesn't stop. The training is free. It's no cost to join Canines for Veterans. It's no cost to the veteran. But you sign a contract with Canines, and the dog is now yours. But you're signing that contract that you promise that you're going to take care of the dog, The dog is yours. You're responsible for that dog as, for the rest of the life of the animal. And you can come back and continue on with the training, get refresher training. If there's new things that come out in the training, you can go back there and learn more. And training is perishable. It's like a language. If you don't continue to train and you don't keep up on it, some of those skills can deteriorate. So we urge all of
As
our
with
veterans.
everything, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We urge all of our veterans to come back and continue to train with their dog. And they do. They come back, they continue in the classes. And we have 2 training facilities, one in Chicago and then one out here in Joliet, where I'm at. And, we have classes that, they fill up and folks come out and they continue to go through the training and they do their refresher training. And one of our,
Really cool.
one of our most proud things that we say, and this touches my heart, is that we've had over 200 dogs trained, and we have not lost a single veteran to suicide.
100%, because that's exactly what it does. You have a reason to live. You've got to take care of, you guys have to take care of each other. Your dog has to take care of you, and you have to take care of your dog. So it's a mutual commitment, right?
Absolutely. It is a mutual commitment. I have an adult son that's a Marine. I have an adult daughter, and now I have another son, my dog. And it gives you that reason.
That's right.
To keep moving forward, one foot in front of the other. The dog gives me that reason. The dog keeps me on track. The dog helps me every day. I don't go anywhere, without him, as much as possible. Sometimes there might be something I do, but 99.999% of the time, Rocky is along with me.
That's right. And he's there for you. And it is amazing, the relationship and the bond that you can form with that dog. And it's really imperative. And what an absolutely wonderful service. So let's say somebody's listening today, Dan, and they say, okay, I've had dogs all my life. I really want to help. I want to see what I can do to help get these dogs to veterans. Because it's expensive too, right? The training, getting the food, things that I'm sure the organization needs. Tell us how somebody can get involved.
Absolutely. If you were to type in, go to the web and type in K9s for Veterans, you'll get to our web page. And the cost of the dog is around $7,500 to train the dog, feed the dog, all the initial stuff, cover medical. That's about $7,500 per dog. And we are a nonprofit. And so everything is a donation. We get no funds from the federal government or anything like that. And so if you go to our website, you'll see that there's the page for the application, the drop down for the application. There's opportunities to volunteer, to assist us, because we're always looking for volunteers to help. We do a lot of events throughout the year, fundraising events, educational events, to explain exactly what it is we do, open events to, I'm going to use the word recruit people that want to come in and join the program. And then obviously there's a section there if you want to donate to K9s for Veterans, you can do so. There's videos of our training and things that we do, photographs, to get more awareness to the public, to see what exactly, someone says, well, I don't really know, do I want to donate to this organization? Well, the best way to answer the question is to look and to see, hey, wow, all right, I can see what they're doing there. I see the end results. I can see the videos of the training. I can see the positive results. I can hear from the veterans that have been trained or the first responders. And, hey, this event's coming up, this dog dedication. Maybe I'll go to it and see firsthand, or hey, we're going to have this event over here, and they may need a volunteer, and I'll find out if I can volunteer and assist, or I'm just going to go to observe. That's the best way to fully understand this nonprofit, K9s for Veterans, to see what we do. And that is absolutely the best way to have boots on the ground, to watch what we do,
Sure.
to learn about us, to talk to the veterans, to meet the dogs, to see the end result. And I'll tell you, the dog dedication can be a tearjerker, because what you're doing is it's a mixture of like new veterans that are just first getting their dog, that are starting down that path of training, and dogs that are completing the training and being turned over, to their veteran. They've gone through the training and now they're graduating and they're getting their vest, and the look on the face of that veteran that's getting that dog, who has completed that training. I remember, as I said, when I saw Rocky being walked down the aisle to me, one of the proudest moments of my life.
Yeah.
That was right up there with graduating boot camp as a Marine, and I was a Marine for 30 years, active in reserve, and graduating, I was a police officer for 24 years, graduating recruit training, from becoming a policeman. When I was married, the day I got married, or the day I watched my son graduate recruit training to become a Marine, that day, having Rocky walk to me, and taking him and knowing that we had completed that training, that day is up there with those other days,
Sure.
as one of the most proudest moments of my life.
That is absolutely wonderful. And you're right. I think seeing it is, probably puts people over the line, because you actually can observe it and you can feel in the room when the dog is there with their owner too.
Right, absolutely.
Now, do they do a lot of different kinds of dogs? So, meaning you don't necessarily have to have the same dog, right?
No, you know
Breed or
what? Yeah, we have all kinds of dogs. I mean, you name it, we probably have had it go through the training class.
Okay.
And one of the interesting things is that sometimes we have veterans that come in and they have a predisposition as to what kind of dog they want. But then they realize, talking to our head trainer, talking through, they sit down and they realize, after talking to the trainer, that maybe what they wanted isn't what they necessarily need.
Okay.
And as I said, it's a relationship. It is what is best for you. And as example, this is just an example. Say in my mind, I'm a veteran and I think I want a Belgian Malinois, because I've seen videos of Belgian Malinois and they're cool looking. And a Belgian Malinois is a very high energy dog.
Right.
And they need a lot of outside time, and they are high energy. They're like a fur missile. They are all over the place, and they're good dogs. They're incredibly good dogs. But
Right.
I get there, and after talking to the trainers say, well, wait a minute, given, your living environment, given what we think you might need, let's look at this type of dog. All right. We're not trying to dissuade you from what you want, but we think, given after talking to you, maybe this dog would be better for you.
Got it.
Then you start the training with that dog and you start to realize, hey, wait a minute, they're right.
Mm-hmm.
And this dog is a better fit for me. And it is about the relationship between you and that dog. And I've seen it happen. When I got Rocky, me and him bonded immediately. And, if you have a family, say, and I have at the time, my kids were still at home and whatnot. And, having Rocky meet my family, and we do that. The veteran comes in. If you have other animals in your home, we're going to have those come in, and everything's got to fit with that dog.
Right.
We're never going to put a dog into a situation, or put a veteran or a first responder into a situation where things do not all match up, because that's a recipe for disaster.
Right.
And we do not allow that. We're not going to let that happen. Because another thing with K9s for Veterans is, once we take a dog out of that shelter, our dogs never go back to shelters. Mm-hmm. If for whatever reason the situation doesn't work out, we're going to rehome that dog.
Right.
We pride ourselves on making things set up correctly so it works out. And we have an incredibly good track record with that. It goes back to, over 200 dogs have gone through. We have not lost any veterans to suicide, because our program works. The dogs are married up with the families and the vets, and it's a smooth transition a smooth thing. If it doesn't work out, we correct it. The vet doesn't get told, hey, too bad, so sad.
Right.
We'll find another dog for you. You'll go back into training with that dog. You'll continue until you succeed. And once that happens, and you take that dog, now he's he or she, the dog is part of that family. It's a one unit, and you continue with the training, and you continue to move forward in life. And as we talked about, it's a wonderful thing to help with that PTSD, or if you're having I have a traumatic brain injury. It's not severe, obviously. It exists, but it does cause some issues.
Right. And it just
And
addresses them, right?
and the dog helps address that as well.
Right.
And it's just a wonderful program all the way around.
What I appreciate the most in everything that you said today is I got the attitude of whatever it takes for the veteran and whatever it takes for the dog, you're going to take care of both. And that's really an
Absolutely.
awesome thing to say. Your
Absolutely.
organization is near and dear to my heart, and I'm not ashamed to share this. I'm very happy to share it. My sister has a heart condition, and it was her little dog who was trained who woke her up when she was having a heart attack to do the nitroglycerin and saved her life. So I am
Absolutely.
aware that the dogs have the power to save lives. And when you have a track record of 200 dogs and nobody lost, it speaks for itself, its volumes. So the sum of $7,500 to train a dog to be with a veteran or first responder is small and peanuts in our society, right? To be able to take somebody to give them their life. And
You
that's
are
really what it's
literally, yeah,
about.
these donations are saving lives.
That's right.
I am telling you, it is a life-saving donation. People sometimes they might not realize that at first, but when a lot of times we have donors that once they've donated, they want to hear what's going on. They want to keep track of what's going on with the dog that they helped raise money to donate. And we love that. We love the fact that people want to stay in contact. They want updates. They want to see how things are going. And we welcome that with open arms. Yes, absolutely. If you want an update, you can, sometimes the veterans reach out to the people that helped get them their dog and give them those updates, let them know what's going on. And it's a wonderful thing. I think that canines, in my mind, we're a big family. That's how I look at it with Canines for Veterans. And I've met so many other veterans and first responders that I'm friends with, and I've created relationships with. And with our donors and people that help us, some of them come back and volunteer for us. Some of them I talk to, I see time and time again at different events, and I look at them as family as well. And everybody who meets Rocky loves Rocky, and a lot of people meet him over and over again, and they ask about him. Or I've had people call me and say, hey, how's it going? How's life? How have you been? And
Yeah.
I love that. I love that fact. And it also, that helps. Once again, we circle back to the whole PTSD thing. That helps as well, because isolation, being separated, from other people, that's a big part of PTSD.
Correct.
And,
It
and
makes it
that,
worse, right?
yeah, absolutely. That helps you get away from that. And knowing that you're not alone, knowing that you have that support system, knowing that you have people that care about you, is such a huge deal. It's such a big thing to help with people. It helps you struggle when you're struggling. It helps you get through the struggles of having post-traumatic stress disorder.
Absolutely awesome. Well, they are God's creatures and they are going to make it work, and they work with their owners, and it makes life good. So, obviously you've talked about Canine for Veterans with the website. Are there other ways that people can get information? Are you guys on Facebook? Are there other avenues to learn about you?
Absolutely. We are on Facebook, Instagram. We're all over social media. Very easy. All you type it in Canines for Veterans, NFP, not for profit, and you're going to find us on the web. You're going to find us on Facebook, and as I said, we have events coming up. I'd like to go through those,
Sure, please.
kind of bring them
Yeah.
up here. So, as an example, we have an event that I'll be at. We're going to this May 23rd. It's an event that we were invited to out at the Dirt Oval at Route 66 here out in Joliet. They're having an event. It's Military Appreciation Night out there.
Okay.
And you're going to have demolition derby and they're going to have fireworks. But we're going to be out there with an information table and several dogs to do demonstrations of what the dogs can do. And, veterans with their handlers. I'll be one of them. But it's a great opportunity to come out and meet the handlers, the dogs. We'll have some donation stuff there, if you feel like donating, whatever. But the biggest thing is coming out and getting a chance to meet the dogs, meet the handlers, talk to us, learn more about Canines for Veterans. Also, there's another nonprofit that Michael started that I'm also involved in, which is the Forgotten Warrior Memorial. And I'll talk about that too. June 6th, when we do this twice a year, the Forgotten Warrior Memorial is located in Shanahan State Park. And on June 6th, we're going to have one of our two memorial events that we do per year. We have it on June 6th and September 12th. And the Forgotten Warrior Memorial is something that is also near and dear to my heart. And what that is about is it is the only memorial of its kind in the country. And the memorial was created by Michael Tellerino to honor those men and women that served our country, that lost the battle with PTSD and or TBI. And at that event, at that memorial, we're going to be adding more names. Unfortunately, 22 a day is a number that the VA, the DOD have come up with. One is too many. One a day is too many of those that, lose the battle and, end their lives through suicide. And so to memorialize their service, it's not about what happens at the end. It's about what they did for this country. They raised their hands and they went and did their service. And so the families, the families come from all over the country. We'll be adding 13 names on June 6th, and we'll be adding 13 names on September 12th. The ceremony is out at Shanahan State Park, Shanahan, Illinois. You type in the Forgotten Warrior Memorial, and once again, you'll take us right to the webpage. It'll take you right to our webpage for the Forgotten Warrior Memorial. You'll see videos of past memorials. It is a solemn event, but at the same time, it's very important. It starts at 1 p.m. On June 6th. The families are out there, and I've been to many of them. And the families, when they're out there, it gives them a sense of closure that dignity that they otherwise might not get. And the more people that come out and the families see that, I've seen people go up to these families that they've never met before in their lives, and they've just started talking to them about their loved one. And they thank them for their loved one's service. And it means so much to these moms and these dads and these husbands and these wives and these kids, that someone is just saying, hey, thank you for your loved one's service to this country.
Right.
So that's on June 6th, 1 p.m., Shanahan State Park, the Forgotten Warrior Memorial. And then on July 18th, at the Stone City VFW number 2199 out in Joliet here, Stone City, we're going to have, starts at 6 p.m., goes till 10 p.m. We're going to have that dog dedication. And I'm telling you, if you're not doing anything, go Stone City, VFW number 2199. It's in Joliet. Get out there. Come in. If you need to bring some tissues, bring them. But come on out and watch this dog dedication. It's an incredible evening, an incredible event to watch these men and women receive their dogs, whether they're beginning training or they're at the end of their training cycle and they're getting the vested dog. But it's just a wonderful evening, and the room is filled with nothing but joy and hope. You get to watch that happen. And I have not talked to a single person that has gone to one of these events who has not walked away feeling energized, feeling proud, feeling happy, and feeling overjoyed.
Saving a life. Let's talk about that. Saving a life.
And saving a life and feeling overjoyed that they've had the chance to be there to witness
and be part of it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely wonderful. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on today and sharing your story and sharing everything that you're doing. It's a wonderful opportunity. I hope if you're listening today, get on social media, look up the websites, look at these events. I'm sure, if you can't make these, look into the future to do it. Get a team of people together that can bond together and help support veterans and first responders and get this done. So what
Yep.
an incredible conclusion. Yeah.
And the last thing I'm going to do, and I do this whenever I talk to anybody, is my email address is Dan
Okay.
at K9, K as in kilo, the number 9, SD.org. Dan at K9SD.org. And my phone number is 708 580 1241. 708 580 1241. If you have questions, if I don't have the answer, I'm going to use the old Sergeant Major term that I learned before I retired. If I don't have the answer, I will find it. I don't mind anybody calling me or emailing me. This is my life. This is my job. This is what I do. This is what I care about. I will answer your calls. I will find out the information that you need or want, and feel free to call me or email me whenever you want to.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thanks for your
Yes,
time.
ma'am. And thank you so much to the Sterk Family Law Group for doing this. You guys are awesome, and I greatly appreciate it. And I look forward to coming to your event, which I know is
Great.
coming up here. What
It's
is
May
it?
20th. May
May
20th.
20th.
Yeah. It's right around the
Yes.
corner. So,
Yeah.
well,
Star,
very
Stripe,
good.
and Sterk. Star, Stripe, and
Stripe and
Sterk.
Sterk. That's
I
right.
love it. I love it.
All
And
right.
thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Take care.
All right. Take care.